Let's learn about the present perfect continuous and the present perfect. And remember, if you do need more help, I have extra materials linked in the video description below. So check those out if you need to. Let's start with the present perfect and the present perfect continuous and how they are similar because they really are. And if you haven't seen my video on the present perfect continuous yet, I really suggest that you go back and watch that so you can understand how we create or formulate the present perfect continuous and the reasons that we use it. So, both the present perfect and the present perfect continuous can explain how long something has happened. An example of this might be I have taught for 10 years or I have been teaching for 10 years. Have taught is the present perfect, have been teaching is the present perfect continuous. We can also use both tenses to show actions that have recently finished and we can see the results. So a good example of this might be like, I have lost weight or I have been losing weight. Now, even though both of these tenses can be used in the same way, I do want you to notice that when you use the present perfect, so I have taught or I have lost, you're focusing more on just that action. If you use the present perfect continuous, I have been teaching, I have been losing, you're putting more attention or focus on the process, on this being something that has taken some time. So, even though you can use both of these for the same reasons, if you want to be more focused on just the action, then use the present perfect. But if you want to put more emphasis on how this has been a process, use the present perfect continuous. Okay, so that's how they're similar, but how are they different? So, just a reminder, only the present perfect can show an experience where time isn't specific or important. So, an example of this would be I have graduated from university. This is a life experience that I have, but when I did this or how long ago I did this isn't specific or important. We also only use the present perfect for showing more permanent or really long lasting changes. A good example of this would be like, I have found a new job. All right. Of course, we can always get new jobs, down the road later on, but this is like a permanent change to our lifestyle at this time. And finally, we only use the present perfect to explain how much or how many of something have or has been done. So, for example, we have taken many classes. Looking at the present perfect continuous, only the present perfect continuous can show an action that started in the past and it continues today. So, an example of this would be like, I have been going to French classes. All right, that person started that action in the past and it continues to today. We can also use the present perfect continuous for temporary changes. And I like to explain this as maybe a recent change to your routine or your habit. So, for example, I have been taking the bus. If somebody told me I have been taking the bus, I would understand that this is not what they normally do, that they probably usually drive or maybe they usually walk or ride the bike, but for some reason, there has been a change in their habit or their routine, and now they have been taking the bus. And again, this is a temporary change, it's not their norm, but whether it's for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, even 2 years, it's not something that they plan on doing forever. Okay, so let's look at the signal words. And remember, because the present perfect and the present perfect continuous can be used in the same way, they will actually share some signal words. So let's take a look. Of course, with the present perfect, we use for since, just already, yet, every morning, every night, never, recently, or before. And in the present perfect continuous, we also use for and since. We can use every morning and every night. We can also use recently. But the ones that are specific only to the present perfect continuous would be like all day, all morning, all night. And that ties back into the continuous aspect. Same with lately. That kind of ties back into a more temporary change, not a permanent change. Okay, so let me show you some sentences and you tell me if these sentences are written in the present perfect or the present perfect continuous. I have been working in the garden. Present perfect or present perfect continuous? Present perfect continuous. So in case you don't remember, the present perfect is going to be have or has and been because the perfect aspect always uses the verb three. And then continuous part is the been working because continuous tenses or aspects always use the verb to be plus a verb ing. So that's our formula for the present perfect continuous. Have been or has been verb ing. Let's do a few more. She has been cleaning the apartment. Present perfect or present perfect continuous? Present perfect continuous. And again, we know it's going to be continuous when we see this ing after a verb to be. He has learned how to ride bike. Present perfect or present perfect continuous? Present perfect. Has learned. And again, the present perfect is going to be have or has plus verb three or your past participle, right? So has learned, has gone, has eaten, have driven, have taught, things like that. All right, the next one. We have been watching movies all day. Present perfect or present perfect continuous? Present perfect continuous. Let's do one more. I have painted a portrait in art class. Present perfect or present perfect continuous? Present perfect. All right, let's do one more practice with filling in the blanks with the correct tense, either the present perfect or the present perfect continuous. And I tried to help you out by giving you signal words in every single sentence, and none of these signal words are the same for both tenses. I'm not trying to trick you or anything and say, these can be used for both or both tenses are correct, but these do have a correct answer, either the present perfect or the present perfect continuous. So if you need to, go back and look at those signal words, pause the video, write down your answers. When you're ready to see the answers, hit play. All right, how did you do? Let's find out. Number one should be have finished. Let's go ahead and read that aloud together to practice our English fluency. Number one, I have finished my homework already. Already is going to always be used with the present perfect because already is the meaning of already is that something is done. And so with the perfect tense, that's going to be where something is already completed. All right, number two, he has been painting. So again, anytime we're going to use all morning or all night, that's always going to connect to that like continuous aspect or continuous tense. So we have to use the present perfect continuous. All right, let's read number two together again to practice our fluency. He has been painting the fence all morning. Number three, hasn't eaten. We're going to use the present perfect when our signal word is before. Let's read it together. Number three, she hasn't eaten sushi before. Number four, have read. And the signal word here is like this week. Okay, let's read it together. Number four, I have read 3 books this week. All right, let's go to number five. The correct answer is has been raining. Let's read it together. It has been raining every afternoon lately. And our signal word with this one is lately. So, how did you do? If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.